What's going on, Laker fans? Welcome into the Lakers Report from Chat Sports, and today I'm going to be breaking down 5 free agents that the Lakers have coming up this summer in 2020. So let's take a deeper look at both of those guys, all of those guys right now. Starting out with Anthony Davis, he does have a player option. Him and then Dwight Howard will be an unrestricted free agent. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope has a player option. JaVale McGee and Avery Bradley also have player options. Now, those are the 5 Lakers I'm going to be looking at today, but those aren't the only 5 free agents the Lakers could have this summer. The other 5 include Rajon Rondo with a player option, Markieff Morris and Dion Waiters, who they just picked up in the buyout market, are unrestricted free agents. Jared Dudley will hit the open market, and then Caurso and Quinn does have a restricted free agent contract coming up this summer as well. So they could keep all of those guys, they could waive all of them, but I just want to focus on those first 5. Now, before I look deeper at all of them, I want to tell you about our partners over at Fanatics. I want to make sure you don't miss out on this sweet deal. Fanatics is hooking you guys up with 25 to 30% off all Lakers jerseys right now when you go to chatsports.com/Lakers jerseys. Really simple. Chatsports.com/Lakers jerseys will get you 25 to 30% off any Laker jersey you want right now. Maybe you want an Anthony Davis jersey, which might not be the safe move right now because he could be an unrestricted free agent this summer. We'll talk a little bit more about him right now. He has a $28.8 million player option coming up, which everyone expects him to turn down because he wants to hit the open market, get that full-on max contract that he is eligible for. Now, the only other team that I've even heard about considering signing him, or that has a chance to sign him, that is the Chicago Bulls. Obviously, his hometown team, but I would still put the Lakers as the front runners to re-sign him, and he will be priority number 1 for the Lakers this summer when free agency begins. Now, this year, Anthony Davis has been off the charts, a top 5 player in the league like we all expected him to be. 26.7 points per game, 9.4 rebounds, 3 assists, but he's blocking 2.4 shots per game. I still have him pegged as my defensive player of the year. I think he's right up there with Rudy Gobert, one of the best defensive players you will see on the floor ever, and he can get it done on both ends, which is why he's going to be so valued in this free agent market, especially considering the fact that really the top of this free agent class is not that strong. When you look at the top 5 guys, Anthony Davis is the clear-cut number 1 guy. Brandon Ingram, former Los Angeles Laker, is going to be a restricted free agent. I fully expect him to get a max contract with the New Orleans Pelicans and re-up there. Andre Drummond has a player option. We don't know exactly what he's going to do with that now that he's a member of the Cleveland Cavaliers and one of the weirdest trade deadline moves. Montrezl Harrell will be an unrestricted free agent. He has been incredible this year off the bench for the Clippers. I think he's going to get paid big time. And then Bogdanovic, the near Laker we all thought was going to happen, is going to be a restricted free agent as well. Wouldn't be surprised to see him go back to the Sacramento Kings. Now, the big question with all of this is, how confident are you that Anthony Davis is going to re-sign with the Los Angeles Lakers on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being you're absolutely confident, you know he's coming back no matter what. 1 being you think he's going to leave. Let me know in the comment section below. You guys are going to get hit with a YouTube ad break real quick, but scroll on down. Let me know how confident you are that Anthony Davis will be a Los Angeles Laker next year. Now let's talk about Dwight Howard, the guy who really has been the biggest surprise of the season for me as a member of the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, Los Angeles Lakers, he will be an unrestricted free agent this summer. One of the only guys we'll be talking about today who is going to be unrestricted. Now, this past summer, he only signed a 1-year, $2.6 million deal. And when he signed that, everybody was like, okay, he kind of wants to prove himself in LA, but is he really going to do it? Well, he has. He's found himself a consistent role in Los Angeles off the bench. I think he's really just fit into what Frank Vogel wants to do in the offense and on the defensive end as well. He's become a lob threat. He's become really efficient around the rim, and that's what I want to talk about right now. His stats for the season: 7.5 points per game, 7.4 rebounds per game. He's blocking 1.2 shots, and there it is, the field goal percentage at 73.2. If Dwight Howard's in the restricted area, the dude is not gonna miss. So if you look at his last 5 years, what he's done from his field goal percentage, it's really just taken a major leap this season. 2015-16, the last time he was still considered to be a star player in Houston, he was shooting 62%. And then he goes to Atlanta, he shoots 63%. And then he goes to Charlotte, he plays 81 games. We start to see this kind of revitalization of Dwight Howard, but he wasn't contributing wins, and he wasn't playing efficiently at only 55% from around the rim. Then last year in Washington, he plays 9 games, he's 62%, and this year he's already played 62 games, and he's shooting 73%. So the best he has shot in the past 5 years by a large margin. Dwight Howard has been efficient. He's been a very good player for the LA Lakers. I love what I've seen from him. I wouldn't be surprised to see him back on another, maybe a 1+1 kind of deal, maybe a 3-year deal with some partial guarantees in there. I like Dwight Howard a lot now on this Laker team, especially off the bench. But who has been the biggest surprise for you from the Lakers this season? Maybe it's Dwight Howard. I still have him pegged as my biggest surprise. I think he's been absolutely outstanding, and I didn't expect him to be. But another guy that you could consider as the biggest surprise could be Caldwell-Pope. And I'll be honest, at the beginning of the season, I considered him to be trash. I was ready to get him off of the Los Angeles Lakers. But I was proven completely wrong because KCP has been a valuable member of the Lakers this year. Now, he does have an $8.5 million player option coming up this summer, which he could accept, but with the way he's been playing, I wouldn't be surprised to see him turn that down and get a longer-term deal, maybe for around the same amount of money. Now, the thing with Caldwell-Pope is he's been a great defender, but he's been an even better three-point shooter, which is what the Lakers have always wanted him to be, and now he's finally becoming that. This year as a whole, he's averaging 9.5 points per game, 2 boards, 1 assist. That's not really what he does. He's just a flat-out scorer, and he shoots 39.4% from 3. And I just talked about it. He's become a good three-point shooter, but just how good has he been? Well, he's been the best on the Lakers, by far. KCP at 39.4% from 3 this year leads the Lakers in three-point percentage. Quinn Cook, who really doesn't get as much playing time as KCP, averaging 37.9% from beyond the three-point arc. Danny Green, who is expected to be the sharp shooter on the team, shooting 37.8%. Avery Bradley, a guy who doesn't take a lot either, but he does make a good amount of them at 36.4%. And then you got Caurso there at 35.5%. LeBron James isn't far behind them. He's around 34.6% from beyond the three-point arc. That's what KCP does. And if he opts out, I would not be surprised to see the Lakers give him another deal, a little bit more years, maybe around the same amount of money. Now, Laker fans, we know you enjoy all the stuff we do on this Lakers channel, and that's all we do here. All Lakers, all the time. So we want to make sure you are subscribed. We're trying to get that subscriber count way up. I want to hit 20K. Why not? Let's go ahead and get it up there. So make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel for Lakers stuff only. And then also make sure you're subscribed to our main channel at youtube.com/chatsportstv for all NBA, NFL, any sports you want all the time over on Chat Sports. Now let's talk about JaVale McGee, the other center. We already talked about Dwight Howard. Let's talk about the starter here, JaVale McGee. He has a player option as well at $4.2 million. Now, I'll be honest, I have absolutely no idea if he's going to accept that. I don't know if he's leaning toward taking that. It would make sense for him to take it because $4 million is probably what a center of JaVale McGee's caliber is going to get in the open market at this point, but there could be a chance he turns it down. Maybe he wants more security, more long-term money. Now, he's been a reliable starter this season. He's splitting minutes with Dwight Howard, so even though he usually gets the starting nod, the minutes are split pretty evenly between those two. Now, the guys I want to compare, because they're the two centers that get all the minutes, are Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee. Let's look at Dwight Howard first. We talked about his numbers earlier. 7.5 points per game, 7.4 boards, 1.2 block shots. The field goal percentage is through the roof at 73.2, and he's getting closer to 20 minutes per game. Now, JaVale, on the other hand, he's averaging less really in just about everything. 6.8 points per game, 5.8 rebounds. A little bit better at blocking shots at 1.5. The field goal percentage is still around 64, but he's getting 17 minutes per game. So, yes, the minutes are split pretty evenly, and yes, JaVale McGee gets the nod in the starting lineup, but he's not getting as many minutes as Dwight Howard as it currently stands. Now, one thing I want to look at here is the players that the Lakers do have under contract next season, no matter what. So, not including the guys with player options, but there are only 5 guys that have fully guaranteed contracts next season. LeBron James, Danny Green, Kyle Kuzma, Caurso, and Talen Horton-Tucker. Now, Quinn Cook also has a partially guaranteed deal, but what are you not seeing of these 5 guys? That's right, a big man. So you got to bring back either JaVale McGee or Dwight Howard. Now, obviously, you're going to go out and prioritize Anthony Davis. If worst comes to worst, he plays the 5, but you'd rather have JaVale or Dwight back no matter what, because you have no centers on the roster for next season, and both these guys would come at a pretty cheap price for the Lakers. But if you had to choose one, you go into the summer, you can only get one of them back. Which center would you rather have? Type J for JaVale McGee, type D for Dwight Howard. I think at this point, JaVale McGee, even though Dwight Howard had an incredible year, JaVale McGee is still the more reliable player overall. But Dwight Howard has his flashes, and if he does what he's doing this year, again next year, and maybe even the next year, it's hard to pass up on Dwight Howard, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And before we get into our last player today, I want to remind you to go check out Fanatics. When you go to chatsports.com/Lakers jerseys, you get 25 to 30% off all Laker jerseys thanks to our friends over at Fanatics. Don't miss out on that deal. I had to tell you about it one more time before we get to the end of today's show, which is going to end with Avery Bradley. Another guy who, you guessed it, he has a player option as well, $5 million. Now, I think it's pretty likely that he ends up accepting that player option. He picks it up because, let's face it, Avery Bradley's not really going to get $5 to $8 million in the open market at this point in his career. I think he's sitting around a veteran minimum kind of contract at this point. $5 million is a good chunk of money for Avery Bradley, but he's been really good for LA, so it's not such a bad thing. You know, if he does opt in, great, you get to keep him. If he opts out, you could probably re-up his contract for nothing more again than a vet minimum deal. He's been a good shooter, a good defender. He's always starting at the point guard role, but his numbers don't really pop by any means. He's averaging 8.6 points per game, 2.3 boards, 1 assist, shooting 36.4% from three, which is good. Most of those threes coming from around the corner area because that's where he shoots it best. But let's say he opts out and the Lakers got to go out and get another point guard. Well, this point guard class, just like the rest of the free agent class, is not that strong. At the top, you got Fred VanVleet and Mike Conley. That's pretty good. You get Goran Dragic there as well. I like those three guys. I think all three of those guys would make a lot of sense for LA, but they're not going to come at cheap prices. They're not going to come at $5 million. Maybe Dragic, but VanVleet, no, he's going to demand a lot of money. Mike Conley still is going to demand a lot of money. And then after that, it's a huge drop-off. You got a guy like Jeff Teague, and you got a guy like DJ Augustine. Neither of those guys pique my interest for the Lakers more than Avery Bradley does. So at this point, why not? If he opts out, go ahead and bring back Avery Bradley for a cheap deal because it's not going to cost that much to retain him. But really, I expect him to opt back into that $5 million player option. Now that you're at the end of today's show, we're going to have a little fun here with this last question. I want you to give me the guy that you want the most on the Los Angeles Lakers that's going to be a free agent this summer. Could be anyone. Now, I like Bogdan Bogdanovic. I think he'd make a lot of sense in LA. Obviously, Anthony Davis is priority number one, but who is another guy you'd like to see the Lakers add in free agency this summer? Guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.